Basketball is my life. I have nothing else.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
Shooters. That's what we do.
Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
Do we get the show on the road?
Let's just jump right in. Episode 17. It's been a while. We saw each other in person. How are you since that lovely awards night?
Well, it was definitely the highlight of the awards night. I had two highlights of the awards night. One was seeing you, catching up with you, and, even making a little bit of content together. And then the second one was Milton Doyle winning first all team, which was epic. So that were the two highlights of my night. How was your awards night personally?
It was good. It was good. Like you said, we saw each other on the red carpet, even though you took a while to realize it was me behind that camera. But I won't hold it against you. It's hard, all those flashy lights. Probably get caught up in the moment. But mine was good. I got to relax a bit more this year. Previous years, I've kind of done a bit more. But yeah, towards the end of the night, I was just kind of cruising, doing my thing, and just kind of taking it all in, because it's always cool when everyone's sort of in the same room at the same time and get to interact and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was good. Do you want to do a quick little recap? Any surprises? Anything that caught you off guard? You were pretty on the money with the results. I was correct on the first team and close on the second team. Obviously, myself wasn't in it, and they put in Chris Goulding. But we were pretty good overall. Anything you didn't like? Anything you were surprised?
No. I think I was having this chat with someone from work, and I think they got it pretty bang on. Like you said, our guesses were pretty similar, besides from a few JackJumpers on your end. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, you got the Milton Doyle over me. I didn't get I guessed DJ Hogue would be in there, but no cigar. But no, I think they nailed it. And one thing that did, I was laughing at that. So for anyone that hasn't seen, Jack, as soon as he got on the red carpet, he was holding my Shooters t-shirt, which I was always going to find funny, because it was just going to be so out of place with everyone looking dapper, and then just the Shooters t-shirt. But he gave it to me, and then we took some photos and some video. But God, what's weird? Because I never see you in person, just the height of you. I felt like you're a small child in that photo. I was just like, that is hilarious, but hey, it is what it is. It's just funny when you're not around the players that much, and then you come up and I'm like, God damn, I'm a little boy. But no, it's good.
No, you're not the little boy. I'm the giant. So there's nothing against you. I'm the weird one in this situation. You're the normal one. But I know what you're saying. Sometimes it's funny because we're in an environment where we're constantly around like huge people, and so sometimes when we're thrown in normal situations, we feel giant again. And we're like, this is weird. Like, we're so used to feeling normal every day, not being big enough, not being strong enough. Put us out in the normal world, and we're massive.
Yeah, you are. It's a classic thing of whenever someone talks about basketball, it's like, you must be tall, but hey, we're just going back to that old sentiment. What else for awards night? What was it like on the JackJumpers table?
Well, it was good. We had a great table. It was very professional. So we had training that day. So I'll give you a quick little recap of kind of how the whole thing leading up to it went, because we've had a big couple of weeks, the JackJumpers. So we were at Illawarra on Saturday, playing the last game of the season in a must-win game to clinch that fourth spot. So we got the job done Saturday. We flew out Sunday to get home Sunday night. And then Monday morning we had training in Hobart. And then we flew out Monday afternoon to Melbourne. Tuesday morning training. Tuesday night leading into the awards night. And then Wednesday we were going to fly to Cairns to prepare for the play-in game. And so it was all business. Our table, we had some laughs, we had some food, and then the second it was done, we got out of there. Maybe a couple boys had maybe a glass or two of red wine, and that was about it. It was a good time though, cheering on Milton Doyle, hoping Shawnee and Kells got their award. But it was a good night overall. It was really well done. What was your table like?
Very quiet, very quiet. So mine was just like the part of the NBL staff table, and majority of the time it was just me and like maybe two or three others just like hopping up and down. Like, we weren't really staying there for a long period of time, and so much so I missed out on the dinner. So what was the dinner like? I didn't even get mine.
Well,
yeah, it took too long.
Wow, the dinner was good. It was either a steak or a chicken. At those events, it's always really good food, a little bit small proportions. But it was a pleasure. We left before the dessert came, but apparently there was some Nutella dessert that was incredible. How long did you stay till? There was some live music afterwards. What time were you there till?
There was Anthony Collier, shout out. He was doing his thing. Some other live performances, but it was cool. I didn't. I think I got home at like 11:30 or something, but I heard a fair few other people stayed quite late. But I just get to a point where I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm happy to leave. Happy to go home to bed. But it was a good night. I didn't just missed out on the food, so I needed some food on the way home. But that's the way it is.
So since then, there's a lot that's happened with basketball. Tell us
Yes.
on your end what your job's been involved, kind of working with the playoffs. Obviously, you put some nice videos together for the awards night. The intro video was yours, capturing a little bit of content, but more of a night off. Heading into playoffs, what's your week been since the awards night?
It's mainly just the build up for me these days because previous years I was on the game night, like covering the social media and all that, the website and stuff, just keeping that live. But not so much this year. That's more the rest of the digital team. Mine's more so just been prepping, sort of like hype it up, all those interviews, that interview you did at MSAC. I'll touch that. I'll touch on something a story you told on that interview later. But yeah, it's just mainly just like getting stuff ready and hyping up and all that stuff just to try to fill out the week and try to get everyone as involved as possible, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. One more thing about the awards night before we move on to kind of my week was a couple years ago they had like a Media Persons of the Year award. Anyway, they were lacking it this year. They didn't have it. They didn't give out an award, but my vote would go to you. You're doing multiple platforms. You're doing podcasts. You're creating YouTube content. You're working in the front office too. So what more could we ask? But Darren is MVP of media team for the 2022-2023 season. You put that on a reel and share that with everybody.
That is very kind, but that's actually a very good point because a few seasons ago they even had like best photograph of the year or something, or best photographer or something, and that was before I properly got into it. So in the back of my mind, I was actually like, can I win this? Considering I'm sort of I'm part of the NBL and it's more for media outlets, but maybe they should bring that back because that was kind of something different, like media person of the year, and I'm actually sure there was like a show or podcast of the year as well. So we've missed out calling.
Well, maybe we'll write it down in our notes because we've got a Google Doc, guys, that is keeping all track of all these episodes, things in the future. Maybe next year we can have the Shooters Pod Awards. And so instead of talking about what their ones, maybe we could put out a photograph of the year. Someone says impressed us in the media team. And hey, we'll work something towards next year's end of season. And maybe we'll have our own awards show rather than just talking about the predictions of the NBL one.
I don't mind that actually. Some more like quirky ones or like more specific, just getting down to the nitty gritty of it. I don't mind that. But I alluded to that interview you did with our guys. Well, it was actually with JMTV, the broadcast company. But do you remember the story you told when they interviewed you? I'm not sure if you do.
No, I do.
Yeah. So you can quickly retell it, but basically it was for some reason Jack had no shoes on while he was grocery shopping, and next minute he knew he had a line of Tassie fans asking for pictures, asking for autographs, but I couldn't care less about that. Why did you not have any shoes on?
Wow.
What was the go there?
So you don't know this about me. So here we go. I'll give a real brief, real quick. So I had back issues for quite a while, pretty much from the age of 16, 17 to about 23, 24. And kept trying to get them sorted, kind of would wake up in the morning, struggle to put my socks on. It would randomly spasm throughout the month, and I'd have to shut it down for a day or two, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, kept trying new things, Pilates, yoga, all of that. And then I found a guy that helped me kind of move a little bit better. And part of that process, would you not believe, was like fixing my toe flexibility, releasing my feet, and getting my ankles to bend a little bit more. Because when I would run, when I wouldn't be able to load my toes, my big toe, and so I'd get a little external rotation of the hip. My hip would pretty much go out, and so I'd be getting super tight hips. So it didn't matter how much I stretched or whatever that may be, my hips always got tight, led to lower back, blah, 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 blah. So, long story short, is I don't really wear shoes anywhere. If I don't, I'll go out to the shops and bare feet, helps me be mindful of the way I'm walking. And yeah, I'm a barefoot warrior pretty much, unless it's raining or really, really hot or really, really cold. I don't wear shoes anywhere.
Wow. Okay, I did not. That was a lot more serious answer than I suspected. I thought it was just going to be like I was feeling lazy or I forgot my shoes, couldn't be bothered tying them up, so I just ran in the grocery store. But thank you for that information, and there you go. The more you know.
The more you know. So yes, I get come up to multiple times as the guy that not only is part of the Jack Jumpers, but that walks around Woolworths in no shoes. So I get recognised
Best
for that.
of both worlds.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. So
It's not like that. It's not that professional basketball player that people see. It's like that dude with no shoes.
I know.
That's
So
the
100%.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll be post practice. I'll be stinking, smelling bad. It's like, who is this guy that smells horrible, walking around with no shoes,
Just-
having a laugh and being loud?
just looking after my back, just looking after my health. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Well, so we're all caught up. Jack's done some interviews with the NBL about not wearing shoes. Then it's go time. Would we like to touch on my week now, or do we hype someone up and bring it back?
Let's quickly hype someone up to lead in all the basketball goodness, and then you touch on your week. You tell us all about game one and everything and all that. But quick hype up. You want to go first? Hype someone up. I just want to hype someone up. Go on a bit of a rant. Anyone that's caught our attention, just give him some love.
Mine is a different one this week, man. It's just it's a little bit basketball related, but a little bit more community related. It's actually going to be Rajon Tucker, and because I just love that video of him going to the park and playing basketball.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like more than the love of basketball. And sometimes I think we get caught up a little bit too much in the best players, NBL championships, NBA championships, and forget about the importance of just people going down to the park and playing hoops and how incredible the game of basketball is. And so there's this video that the NBL shared of Rajon Tucker going down and just playing some street ball and playing some pickup. And pickup is just random players playing together in a park in Melbourne. And he got this crazy move where he made a crossover and dunk. And, you know, there's hundreds of people on the sideline cheering and going crazy. And for me, it really, one, personifies how incredible basketball in Australia is right now, but two, just people growing the game of basketball every single day and their love for it. And yeah, awesome stuff.
No, that's a good shout because it kind of takes like you don't see that often in Australia besides from Pran Summer Jam. That's a big thing down here at the moment. But yeah, it strips basketball back and it's all about more just the enjoyment of it. Like there's so much extra activity and extra stuff that comes with professionalism and all that stuff of being a professional basketball player. But it's really cool when you see moments like that where it's just like, hey, no, this is still fun. Like this is fun for so many. And yeah, how they just kind of mold him after he dunked it. It was a cool scene. I like it.
It was
I
epic.
like that a lot.
It was epic. What about yourself? Who are you hyping up this week?
I have two quick ones. I couldn't decide, but I thought I had to give DJ Hogue. I've been a big fan of his. Wanted him in first team or whatever, but those 32 points that he had in game. No, it wasn't even game one. It was still the part of the play-on tournament. But yeah, 32 points. I said, does he have one of the nicest looking strokes in the league? I think he does. It's a good. It's just something about when people shoot the basketball and they've got like one of those really great forms that you just want to watch over and over again. But my main hype up was Modi Mayor. I don't know. There's something about him. So he's the New Zealand head coach. People probably know him for his. I don't know. How would you describe it? Passion on the sidelines.
Yeah, energy on the sidelines.
Energy. He's hilarious, and like I think people kind of knew him as that assistant coach behind Dan Shamir last season, and I think this season before as that just energy guy. And it's like, what's this guy all about? But I've really enjoyed kind of just like getting to know him as the head coach. And these days, whenever there's interviews, those ones I was cutting up that we were just talking about before, whenever there's interviews of head coaches, he's definitely one that I have to listen to properly. Like, there's just something about him. He's either really blunt or really honest or really emotional, and yeah, he's just really likable. I don't know what you as players, as an opposition player, think of him, but when I listen back to him, he seems like a good dude in his own way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, first off, Hogue had an awesome game. Taj going out against Perth, that was stressful times. You know, losing 2 in a row to be eliminated would be tough, and great players step up when they need it, and him and Bull Cole went crazy to lead them, and they'll be playing Sydney in the semi-finals now. And then on to Modi, he's a great coach. I mean, he deserved to be in that finalist, and people could make arguments that he deserved to be Coach of the Year. And he's put together a good squad that's playing well right now, and we're in a fierce battle with. And on the players' side of how we look at opposition coaches, we don't really talk too much or take too much consideration into what they're doing. So, yeah, it's not something we really notice when we're on the court or when we're on the baseline. So it's not something we talk about a lot.
Yeah, no, that's more than fair. Just wanted to give him a shout out because he was, like you said, he could easily have won that Coach of the Year award, but Adam Ford got that one done. But
100%.
Definitely one of my favorite coaches in the league and personalities.
Yes, he's cool to follow. I have a quick question for you. When you're taking photos, how much do the coaches catch your attention, or the bench when you're taking photos, or is that something you enjoy working with, or is it more the live action? And what does a coach have to do to get your attention?
I think the coaches, for one, was when I first started doing it, I really enjoyed sort of in the timeouts, sort of like going as close to you guys as I can and sort of getting the emotion of the coaches in that. But then a lot of those shots are similar when you do that, even though you can still catch some really cool ones. I just remember one of my first photos was just like Simon Mitchell just like yelling at his players, and as soon as you get that in frame, it kind of looks cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kind of feel like that whole, I don't want to intrude on you guys, and you don't want to be like, I don't know, like you guys have learned to block out media and cameras and stuff, but yeah, it's that whole thing of like, am I too close? Maybe I'll just let them be, but it's part of the gig. But I do like animated coaches. It's like players. As soon as they have big bubbly energy and personalities, your camera's kind of drawn to them, I reckon.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool because every now and then you see a really cool photo of, the passion on the sideline where someone's just caught that moment, and you're like, the game's going on. Why aren't they focused on the game? But hey, being at that sideline, those coaches is part of it, and I can imagine why people's cameras get lost on that aspect of it too.
I've found myself funny if anyone is ever watching photographers or videographers baseline, like sometimes the live action is right in front of them and they're just like swiveled around right to the bench, and like they're like, if you looked at them from the outside, it's like, why aren't you just focusing on like guys literally meters away from you? But it's all about what the other cameras don't see. That's what I'm all about. So
100%.
Yeah, as soon as you get other stuff like that, yeah, it's cool.
100%. No, that is really cool. And I mean, sometimes capturing the fans themselves are some beautiful photos, when like a player scores and you see the emotion of people in the crowd. It's capturing that can be the best shot of the night.
Yeah, really can. There's some crazy fans out there, but tell us about your week. Game one.
Yeah.
Game one obviously didn't go the way of the JackJumpers, but we love to hear about it anyway.
100%. Well, we'll break it down a bit earlier back. So we've gotten to where the awards night's done. We've gone to bed and we wake up the next day. We travel to Cairns. We don't train on travel days. So what our travel day kind of looks like is we'll travel in the morning, always an early-ish flight, about 10, 11, get in. We'll either go for a walk or we'll do video. And so our video gets broken up. It's about 30, 40 minutes, broken up in bigs and smalls while the other ones stretch. We'll do that for an hour. Dinner, sometimes a little bit more video afterwards. And then we go to bed. And then we rock up next day. It's Cairns. It's go time. We're pretty excited. Like, put ourselves in a good spot. We're feeling good. We're obviously a little sad about Jet. Not a little sad, very sad, but we're still feeling confident. We go out and it's a great game. It's JackJumpers basketball. I mean, we took the lead at the start and kind of kept it the whole game. They made a little break into the third, but we pushed it back out and we got the job done. So just like that, we're in Cairns. We're straight into the semi-finals, which means we fly to New Zealand. So this game was on Thursday night. We fly out Friday to New Zealand early in the morning. We fly to Sydney. Delays.
Just on that, I'm going to cut in and tell you to tell us about that Cairns game, specifically when you told whoever in the crowd to be quiet. What was that all about? Was there someone specific? Was there there was an iconic image / video of Josh. Actually, it was an image as well that Getty caught as well. Just him telling the Cairns faithful to be quiet.
Yeah, it was just they were just chirping. They were bringing the energy. They were doing what good home crowds do. And in those moments, in those fourth quarters, I tell you what, I can black out. And I hit a pretty tough shot off kind of like a pick and pop, which is when I'm running into the screen. And instead of me rolling to the basket, I fade out to the 3-point line. And this involves some pretty tricky footwork because you're obviously running away from the hoop. You have to square up. You don't really know where the defense is coming, and you just got to let it fly. And so they rotated, made it, and I just blacked out. Told someone, "Shush, keep it down. We're going to the semifinals." And I was definitely very, very excited / locked in that moment to try and get that game done.
I think one of my favorite terms from this podcast from you is just you describing yourself as just blacking out in those moments. Just anytime something big happens or anytime something weird happens, you're like, "Nah, I blacked out. I don't know what happened. I just let my body take over."
Yeah, I know it's a real thing. Sometimes I can barely remember / I have no control of what I'm doing in those moments. It's beating my chest. It's giving people the shush. It's screaming and flexing. It's definitely. I'm using 5,000 people, 6,000 people to give me some energy in those moments, and I feel it.
No, it's fantastic. It is great. But yeah, onto New Zealand.
Yeah, so the Sydney flight's delayed. It's crazy. We're just sitting around Sydney for hours. We fly to New Zealand. We land at 3 a.m. So we didn't leave Sydney till about 11. We leave at 3. No one's bags on the plane got put on. So we're there. We get back to the hotel at about 4 a.m. We wake up. It's chaos. No bags. We were meant to have a little shooting training session. That's scrapped because we're in our polos and our dress shoes. Kind of do that business. The good fun. So that would be Friday. Then Saturday Wow, I'm losing dates here quick.
Just say a day and we'll act like it's the right one. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's Friday, Saturday. We played on Sunday, obviously. So Saturday was the same thing. We wake up, we go and do a proper shoot around. Sunday we play. We're locked in. They came out and they were the better team, game 1, and that's the beauty of finals. I won't talk too much on game plan or anything because this might be released before the next game.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty. They had a bit longer to prepare, not using these as excuses, just talking about now we've got 2 days, lock in, we'll go over game plan, change a few things, add a few things, and get to come home and play in front of the Jackies faithful, and we're excited to test this battle. So we flew out, got back Monday, had to leave New Zealand at 1 a.m. So because we were nervous of the cyclone keeping us there. So we had a 6 a.m. We had like a 5 a.m. flight or 4 a.m. flight. Flew to Sydney, flew to Hobart, got back at 11, slept the afternoon, and then today we got some shots up, and here we are on a Tuesday doing this beautiful podcast, preparing for our game on Thursday that's must-win basketball.
Love to see it. I should have actually asked about that cyclone. Was it? So I heard. I don't know, I saw pictures. I heard words about it. But was it a genuine were people panicked or anything, or was it just like a be wary? We have to. I don't know. As soon as we have to get out of here as soon as we can, type of deal.
It was an interesting one. We got official text messages from the government saying warning, warning. Like the iPhones went crazy, but
that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. A lot of the shops had definitely barricaded themselves up. This might have been from the flooding a little bit a couple of weeks ago too, but they were barricading up tarps on windows. So it was in full prepare mode. And then New Zealand Air on that Monday cancelled all flights. All flights after 7 a.m. were completely cancelled. So there was definitely a little bit of panic and chaos, but saying that the wind and the rain hadn't hit yet. So it was all pretty smooth sailing when we were there.
That's nice. I was finding it funny because shout out to all the fans that actually came to that game and cheered on, let's just say, both teams. But they interviewed on broadcast one fan. I think he must have been an athlete of a different code, but I've got to be honest, I didn't know what he was. But he seemed like an athlete. But he was full of energy and he's really bubbly about it all. And he's just like, we've got a cyclone outside, but I couldn't care. Let's go Breakers. We're going to get this win. And I just admire the passion of some people to just literally not really care. And obviously they're going to care after the game, but they're like, no, it's basketball. I'll still come. I don't care. It was good to see.
No, it's awesome. I mean, the government was putting out official don't leave home warnings, and their crowd was rocking with a good 8,000. So, I mean, New Zealand fans showed out and gave them the energy to push them over the edge. So, yeah, I'm excited to play in front of our fans, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I can imagine. On to game 2, but yeah, so Sydney face Cairns tomorrow night, which should be a goodie. Who have you got in that series? What do you expect is going to happen?
Well, it's very interesting because we'll talk a little bit of basketball styles. I mean, you got two polar opposites in the New Zealand Breakers and JackJumpers battling it out in a physical, slow game. And then you got the Cairns and Sydney, great athletes running the floor, pushing it ahead. So it'll be two styles. I can see Sydney kind of playing with great tempo. It'll depend on how Taj is doing or if Keanu's going to be back. We heard rumors of both, which is exciting, and that will depend a lot. I mean, Bullquoll's obviously playing great basketball. It'll be exciting to see Zave versus kind of the whole team putting it on the floor, guarding everybody. But I think Sydney's going to push this game out, and I think they'll win 2-1. I can see Cairns getting it done at home with their ability to shoot and make threes. So it's going to be a good battle, fast paced. What about yourself? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think it'll be exciting regardless. I hope Cairns can keep it close. I feel like they're obviously the underdogs coming in, but they've just got that brand of basketball that everyone loves to watch. And Sydney are exciting as well. So I think first, it's going to be fun as a fan to watch. But a close game's a good game, so I just want that series to be close. But yeah, I think Sydney will come out as winners after all. But yeah, all I want is a fun, close one. Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so. That's all I want.
That's definitely not. That's definitely not. So the semi-finals occur, and then there's a FIBA break. So if people don't know,
yes,
we'll talk about this really quick. So the FIBA break is pretty much if you play under FIBA, which is like the worldwide organization, federal whatever basketball association, you have to have certain times off to let the Australian team and the China team and whatever team it is play in tournaments. So the semi-finals will all get wrapped up. Then there's a 7-day FIBA break window, I think, where the Boomers will be playing in Melbourne, which is really exciting. And then the grand final will be going on after that. So it's an exciting time for basketball in Australia. We've got semi-finals, we've got Boomers playing, and then we've got grand finals. Where else would we rather be?
It's true. It's a very good point. Can never get too much basketball. We should dive into one day, maybe in the off season, just like how all the Boomer stuff works, and like even, for example, this window, like whether you're up for consideration or whatever people. Because even by myself, like I'm obviously a big basketball fan, but Boomers is one I kind of just like sometimes it comes up and I'm not fully aware of all the what the final results mean and all that stuff. So it'd be good to dive in one day just to give myself and the fans more of an insight into it.
I like that a lot. We'll do a Boomers episode talking all things Boomers, and who knows, maybe we could hit that out in 2 weeks or whenever the time comes. But I like that idea a lot. Should we head over to the rate or hate, the regular, the this or that, or the hot takes? Have you got anything lined up for today?
Rate or hate?
Great question.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
Right.
That's not what this segment is called.
Let's do it. We've missed this, even though it's only been like one episode. Yeah. But hey, we like our regular segments. I've only got one rate or hate for you this today, so I've been a bit slack. I hope you've got plenty piling, but if not, doesn't matter.
I've got only one too, so you hit us with the start.
I'll go with this one. So this one was sparked from the awards night. So did you hear what Antonius Cleveland said when he won the Defensive Player of the Year? Just about, yeah. So
yes, I do. I know where you're going with this. This is good stuff.
Yeah, someone, I can't remember how the first conversation of this came up, but someone was like, should we include an all defensive team? So every year there's an all NBL first team, all NBL second team, and someone came up with the idea of just instead of basically just highlighting one defensive player, why don't we highlight 5 of them in the all defensive team? And this has never been done in the NBL before that I'm aware of. But I was kind of just like wondering what the players thought of it. And then given Cleveland came up on stage and kind of congratulated the other finalists with him and said, hey, I'm pretty sure he just said, hey, we should really think about a all defensive team, which I was like, if players think like that, I reckon we should probably consider it. Like it's a very good point, I think. Yeah,
listen. When he said it, because he said it live, he called out the NBL on live national TV. I love it. But I looked around and you saw multiple players' heads nodding with agreement. I mean, there's an all NBL first team, all NBL second team. I think an all defensive team would be epic too. To give some guys some love, I'd love to see, man. Matt Kenny up there one day on that, and dudes that are helping to win at basketball games, but don't necessarily have the ball in their hands, that are guarding the best players every single night, and it'd be cool. It'd be cool to give those guys some love, and yeah, I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Strong rate, I reckon. I think it's a winner. Like, it's good to highlight, especially in today's landscape of basketball. It feels like in the NBA, especially, it's all like people just talk about the offense. So if we sort of highlighted more defensive things, I think that's nothing but a positive.
100%. Well, I've got a question. I've got a question, and then I got this or that. My first question is, it's bringing it back a little bit. Media Person of the Year. If you had to give that award out to someone for NBL 2022-23, I'm putting you on the spot, but who's the first person, someone that you want to give a shout out to that did a really good job with the NBL this year on that front?
So my first question is it like external media or NBL media included? Like, are our commentators all a part of this award?
Yes, it's anyone. Yep. Anyone they don't have to work with the NBL. They can be internal. Someone that just impressed you with their work this year.
Jeez, that's a good question. It's hard because I think in previous years there's been like external, so every like ESPN Australia and like the Kane Pittmans of the world, like he's very good at what he does. Olgan, they kind of all do a great job over there, and then Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland, they're like part of the NBL, but they're also ESPN as well. But look, I don't know. I've got my personal. I think Liam Santamaria, obviously, like he does a great job. I get to work fairly closely with him, especially this year. And I think all the players are pretty like they respect him and like him and stuff. So he's always got to be above there. Jack Hebron does a great job. I think it's kind of cool the new commentators introduced this year. I didn't really know much about a lot of them, but. Look, I don't really have an answer for you, but it's a good conversation. I don't have one that stands at the top, but it is kind of cool to think about all the personalities involved.
Yeah, I like it. You got to give a lot of shout outs to some people there, and I was putting you on the spot, so you answered that question perfectly. And then the conversation that came up with amongst our team while we're on the road this week, we had a 12-day road trip, was where would you rather live, Cairns or New Zealand?
Ooh, okay, this is different. I could definitely. Do you remember that the question you asked about? You're like, hey, if you and your brother played in an NBL team together, what would it be? I answered New Zealand, and I think part of that was, for some reason, I feel like I'd rate the cold. I feel like I'd enjoy that environment. I visited only once, but I very much enjoyed it. So New Zealand is my answer.
Wow, there you go.
If you had to, yeah.
Well, Myself, I ended up going Cairns because I'd love the hot weather. We talked about basketball systems a little bit too. I think I would suit the Cairns basketball system a little bit more. So we could put it down here. Darren could be a future New Zealand breaker. We might have to get you in. We might have to get you in the gym in the off season working on your game. But that's exciting to hear.
That's too far, but that's all right. But I've never actually been to Cairns, so that's probably like an unfair disadvantage right there. I've only got an experience of one, so
yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What,
there you go. That's a good one though.
Thanks. What are you grateful for this week, man? Wow, this is a negative space. I'm just gonna start chucking up random things I'm grateful for.
This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
I'm grateful. I feel like all this, it relates back to awards night as well. But like I was saying before, I'm just grateful for being in the same room as all of you guys and all the media personalities, all the players. You very rarely get to be in a room with everyone kind of there, or a lot of people there, and I just enjoyed like walking around the room, seeing people you've had little conversations with before, and kind of when they recognize you and kind of ask, hey, I don't know, how your job's going, how the season's going, that kind of stuff. It's a feel-good moment because I think it's very easy to kind of be complacent with these things and be like, I don't know, it is what it is. I work at the NBL, yada yada. But my dad's a very good reminder whenever I don't know, tell him about my week or whatever. He's just like, that's so cool, mate. So it's just like one of those things that it's always good to reflect. Like, yeah, it's lucky to be in a room with you guys and interact and forming friendships and relationships on the way. So it's a good feeling. I enjoyed the awards night.
Nah, that's epic. That's a great answer. The awards night was cool, man. It's good seeing everyone together. Like, because not often do we see everyone that makes this thing happen. Everyone, without so many people in there, it wouldn't be capable of what it was or even going ahead. So it's cool to have just a night to celebrate everyone, not just players.
And speaking of that, do you guys? So every team does their own sort of end of season function, don't they? Do you guys wait until the season's officially over, or is it still end of regular season thing?
No, so we will be having an MVP dinner, which will happen on the Saturday after we finish. So yep. So that's how we'll be doing it, and I think most teams are pretty similar. They'll knock it out close to when the team's completely done.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Because I remember most teams will do something, but very nice. What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm about to make you look bad, so I apologize in advance. But I'm grateful for my girl. Shout out to Bethany Heft. Because it's Valentine's Day today, and we're recording on Tuesday. On Valentine's, we said we can't talk to you guys. We got a shooters pod to be on, so I'm grateful for Beth for putting up with all my nonsense. Me on shooters pod being with Darren instead of talking to her, and all the good stuff that makes her relationship awesome. So shout out to Bethany. Thanks for putting up with me, especially on Valentine's Day. Love you. Grateful for you. There we go.
Bloody hell. You've done very well there. Well thought out, grateful for. I was just all basketball, everything. But you know who I'm grateful for? Jess. Jess, if you're listening, you've stopped listening to some episodes, so I'm a bit annoyed about that. But maybe you'll listen to this one because you got a shout out. But yeah, I'm also grateful for you. Not enticed by Jack's grateful for, but
good.
I am actually grateful for. So there you go. I bought her flowers. That was a big tick. So
nice.
You sent across flowers. Bethany's in Adelaide, right?
Yes, Adelaide. Well, yes and no. Sent her some. Her birthday is on the 11th, so very, very close. So sent her some flowers.
I was trying to make
in the
you
middle.
look bad.
Yeah, no.
I was trying to make you look bad to get back to you.
Yeah, I like it. But we'll wrap it up there, man. Have you got any final notes rather than go Tasmania, go JackJumpers? What have you got for the people?
No, Go Tassie is a big one. I actually wrote down to end on the Happy Valentine's Day one. So, but that was more just just sending love to everyone, but in particular Jess. But go enjoy it. Go have a meal if you can with your loved one. But if not, send a nice text message or something. Do something.
Yeah, send them this podcast, because what else would they rather be doing on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, probably a lot more if we're being honest. But hey, go Tassie though. Go get them. Game 2.